We're early. When's the last time we started something early? I don't know. Are we allowed to start early? Is that okay? Yeah, we're okay? Okay, 2 thumbs up. So apparently I discovered something about myself, and that is that I have some sort of strange character flaw. And that is I really like public speaking. And so that probably makes me a very small percent of the population. I hope you guys like public speaking too, because it would be really a shame if this was one-sided. So I'm going to do something a little different today, and I'm going to start off by not introducing myself, other than my name's on the slide. I'm going to tell you a story instead, and then we're going to go from there. So if we're all ready, let's kick it off. It was a cool, foggy morning in 1936 when my 12-year-old father, Billy, found himself on the banks of a raging river in high flood, staring at a dilapidated railway bridge. His father, my grandfather, a major in the US Army, had taken him off base for a day of duck hunting. The fog was beginning to lighten as they made their way along the trail leading up to the bridge. Now, my grandfather had done this journey many times before, and he was very experienced. Billy, my father, trudged up to the bridge carrying his pack and shotgun, and he was not experienced. Their destination was an island in the middle of that raging river, only accessible by this retired bridge. And I say the term bridge lightly because really it was simply 2 long beams that spanned the river. These beams must once had railway ties between them, but those had long since disappeared, and all that was left was these 2 long beams, about 2.5 feet apart. My grandfather was not worried. If you'd known him, he was one of those guys that was never worried about anything. He had done this before. Of course, it hadn't been during a flood in the fog, but regardless, he strode out onto the left beam with a shotgun over his shoulder and headed for the island. He might as well have going out for a stroll around town for all that he worried about the water below him. 30 feet below, that water and flooded river raged in foaming white water, and if he had fallen in, he was dead. Literally. My 12-year-old father drummed up all his courage, picked a beam, and promptly sat on his butt, which is what I would have done, and began collecting splinters slowly and painfully across the bridge. About 30 feet into his journey, desperately trying to ignore the rapids below, he heard a loud whoops, and looking up, found himself alone on the bridge. Now, this is a true story. This is not elaboration, although my dad did tell it to me a long time ago. It's a true story. His father, who had been walking nonchalantly ahead of him, was nowhere to be seen. Panic about to set in, he heard a clear, calm voice shout, "It's okay, Billy, I'll swing back up." My father realized that at the moment of the whoops, his father had slipped and fallen between the 2 beams, and in falling had thrown up his arm with his shotgun in it, and had caught 1 inch on the side of one beam and 1 inch on the side of the other beam with his shotgun, and was hanging from his shotgun in the middle of the bridge. My grandfather just calmly swung himself back up and continued walking across the bridge as if nothing had happened. And my father continued scooching across and collecting more splinters. Our talk today is entitled, Growing Up, How to Take the Attractions Industry from Adolescent to Adult. My name is John Pendergrast, and I'm the CEO of RocketRez. We provide a cloud-based, all-in-one ticketing and experience platform. We're an industry of storytellers, and so I thought it was good to start with a story. Growing up is the process of reaching maturity. Mature people make measured decisions under pressure and communicate effectively. Neither my grandfather nor my father demonstrated high levels of maturity in this story, though. 2 of them, they had 2 distinctly different approaches to solving the problems in front of them. The first solution was to charge ahead and solve the problem on the fly, or on the fall, without any real consideration. The second was to shut their eyes and slowly and painfully attempt to move forward. Neither decision had an optimal outcome. And I think many businesses take a similar approach to the issues they face. Charge ahead without any real review of the data or get trapped in, this is the way we've always done it type of thinking. metaphorically keeping our eyes closed to new opportunities. While there might not be a literal river raging beneath us, there are real risks and there are real obstacles. So what is an optimal path? What is the mature approach? I'm sure there are many potential solutions to your business problem or business challenges, but today I want to focus on 3 specific low-hanging fruit that you can start implementing tomorrow. We'll begin here with the intelligence within. Unless you've been hiding under a rock, you'll probably have heard a resounding noise in our industry about the importance of data. It might be surprising, but I've taken informal polls and discovered that most people can't actually define what data is. Data is raw and unstructured. It's like a collection of facts or statistics. It's unorganized, without any context. It can be quantitative, numerical, or qualitative, descriptive. It's often abundant and can be quite overwhelming to navigate and interpret. We know what data is from that perspective. An example might be a number of tickets sold at your main gate this month, or inventory levels in a warehouse on a specific day, or descriptions of your products. In other words, data is what you collect to create information, or as I like to call it, to derive insights. These insights might be in the form of reports or dashboards or many other outputs. And that's why data is so important. Without these inputs, there are no outputs. So step 1 of the intelligence within is to ensure you have access to as much of your data as possible, preferably 100% of it. Insights only exist for data that you can derive them from. The second step is to ensure that the data you can access is available the way you need it. Many platforms simply give you reports and have you stitch together that data to be able to leverage it. This is far from optimal. Do your research to make sure that your data is available in as many ways as possible. From CSV reports to outside BI or business intelligence access to fully programmatic API access, each method provides additional benefits and ways to derive more insights from your data. Flexibility is the key here. Don't skimp because there's no way to move forward without access to your data. Lastly, start educating yourself on working with data. And for those of you who have internal business KPIs or key performance indicators, you're already aware that your set of KPIs are unique to your business. They're not the same as the business down the road's KPIs. The same is true for your insights. While there are many generic questions that your current reporting likely answers, for example, how many guests did we have today? How many tickets did we sell this week? How much revenue did we earn this month? Or maybe year-over-year trending that allows you to compare your progress over last year. You might not have reports for more complex questions like, why do your guests buy ticket type A more than ticket type B? Or what is the most common gift shop purchase for families? This is the intelligence within. It's right there in front of you. It is the intelligent insights that are living within your data pool at all times and is ready for you to access. Some of you might know it instinctively, but much of it requires time and a deep dive of your data to uncover. It's right there in front of you, but sometimes it's hard to see and hard to find. I said this last year at IAAPA, in the same way that you hire a web agency for your website, seriously considering budgeting for and hiring a data expert for your organization. I know that's a new thought to many, and it's like, great, one more budget thing we have to do. But they will pay for themselves faster than you could imagine. They will help you cross that raging river beneath you with confidence and maturity because you'll actually know what's going on. The second low-hanging fruit is connect to accelerate. Stories are the currency of humanity. They are the best and most accessible way to communicate. We are wired for them. In fact, this industry is built on the premise of being great storytellers. How are you connecting with your guests today? Are you primarily focused on the transference of information like ticket delivery, directions, upsells, surveys, the list goes on? Or are you trying to create a real connection with your guest to provide them peace of mind and reduce their anxiety? When my grandfather slipped, the first thing he did after he stabilized was to communicate to his son that he was all right. And at least at that moment, he showed a maturity of putting his son first. We all know the old slogan, the customer is always right. They aren't, most of the time. That slogan misses the point, though. It creates a sense of us versus them. Instead, I believe we should consider this rule instead. I am the guest. Look in the mirror and consider it. There's something of the golden rule in that idea. What if our communication led with that premise to the best of our ability, connect with the guest in the way that indicates that we care? I can't speak for others in the market, but that's why we created our new communication tool, Relay, to enable simpler and flexible communication to guests, to reduce the anxiety of that guest who at 12 a.m. the night before can't remember if they received their tickets or not and want to ask you, or to be there to answer questions from guests about where to park or whether sunscreen is necessary or whether to bring an umbrella or any other host of questions that might come up that might give them peace of mind and that might happen at 1 a.m. in the morning when you're not around. If we build these connections well, we drive delight in our guests. And this is only the beginning. They in turn are much more likely to pay it forward in reviews of your attraction with their friends, family, and social networks. This leads to our third concept today, what I call the attraction flywheel. And if you've been here listening to any of my talks before, I've talked about the attraction flywheel before. The flywheel starts with great guest experiences, which leads to great reviews, and these result in more guests, which allow you to gather more data, which in turn leads to deeper insights into your guests, and insights that allow you to serve your guest even better. And the flywheel continues to turn faster. This leads to acceleration of growth and popularity, and this whole process starts with great guest experiences. These are predicated on excellent communication and a desire to treat your guests as if they were you. Technology can definitely give you more access to your guests and provide services that are difficult to otherwise provide, but the foundation starts with great communication. Are you driven to provide your guest with the best experience possible, to provide magical and memorable experiences for your guest? Then commit to learning to communicate better. Work on your story and provide your guests with an incredible experience they can't get anywhere else. It will pay dividends for both your guests and your bottom line, and this is how you connect to accelerate, creating an attraction flywheel that provides the data you need to gather the intelligence within. My father and grandfather set out on that foggy morning to hunt ducks. One of them had been there before and had a lot of familiarity, and the other, it was a completely new experience. They did solve the problem in front of them and spent the day hunting ducks. They obviously both survived, or I wouldn't be here today. Arguably, they also got a great story out of it. I think we can all agree that they were lucky, and luck is a fickle partner. Instead, they should have assessed the data. It was foggy and the river was in full flood. That data would have allowed them to derive the insight that the bridge might be wet and most likely slippery. That simple bit of insight might have made them reconsider whether the risk was worth the reward, or at the very least, how they might more safely cross that river. While it was good that my grandfather immediately communicated he was still alive, it would have been better to communicate earlier a plan that would have reduced the anxiety of my 12-year-old father, Billy, and given him additional options than simply collecting splinters. We have the luxury of 20/20 vision and reviewing past decisions. It's easy to call out things that could have been improved upon. What's much harder is building a process that gives you more predictability and improved outcomes going forward. Regardless of the size of your operation, I recommend adopting a data and insight mindset. Leverage that intelligence within and give yourself the opportunity to continuously improve it. Peter Drucker is quoted as saying, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. This is true in many, many business areas. Make sure you have the data access you need to start that measurement. As you adopt these processes, also remember that you're telling a story. Your guests chose your attraction because they're interested in what you have to offer. They want to escape or be entertained or learn or spend time with their family together. there are many, many reasons. Keep pouring resources into improving your guest experiences and reap incredible rewards. Leverage the communication technologies that are becoming available and connect to accelerate your business and drive the attraction flywheel forward. Whether you're an attractions operator or a technology partner, we're all in this industry together. If I or my team can assist you in any way, feel free to connect with us after this talk. We have your back. Thanks for your time and have a wonderful rest of your show.